Here. Farnham.
Here.
Helsley. Here. Boyd.
Present.
Zuber.
Here.
Dennis. Here.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of the special meeting on August 12th?
I move their approval, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On the August 21st regular meeting, any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I also move their approval, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approval of the August 21 regular meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We need a motion for claims against the county.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Need a motion for approval of county board members' claims.
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7, public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's been 8 months since we've asked for information in regards to the banking at the airport. Initially, we were told approximately $14,000 was the CD. We got the documents on that. We knew that was incorrect and we kept digging. Then we ended up with an AG complaint and it led to a $35,000 exposure on top of the 14. The last highway meeting, you handed us a packet, and I appreciate it. We have now added another $38,000 that's been uncovered for a total of over $72,000 that was at that airport. And not one person has yet provided any documentation as to when that account was opened, what the deposit was, and where it came from. And it was all done in the county name of the county tax ID. I know the Attorney General has a formal complaint that is in the works. We're still waiting to get those records, but I have to ask, is there not one person here that will demand every stinking piece of paper with that account be provided to the public? Because we're at over $72,000 for something we were told we would never get our hands on. Anybody. Is it asking too much? The auditors.
I think all of us would like to get the information and for the information to come to light. From the chairman on down to the newest board member.
Well,
And we're trying to get it to you.
and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that, Don, you got some of this most recent information from what I understand, and I appreciate it. Mr. Wells is not being honest with you, and it's got to come to a stop, because that man told us 14,000, that was it. And then we uncovered more, oh, I forgot about that one. It's always an excuse. And now we're at $72,000, it's been withheld from the public, we had no knowledge of it, nobody's claimed that it's being used improperly. But we need to know where it's at, which leads to the second question. How is it we've gone through so many audits and our auditors aren't aware of this? When we select an auditor, this stuff should not happen. When it does happen, why are we paying that auditor's bill? They did not do their job. Does anybody disagree with that? I know there's been a lot of talk about all the different stuff that needs to go out for bids. There's guidelines what does and what doesn't. I think 30,000 or 35 is 30 or 35. I understand that. The airport issue that's been going on and on and on, Mike, you brought up numerous times, it's got to go out for bid, got to go out for bid. It doesn't meet the financial threshold, but if we're going to put it out for bid, and we put the project out at the animal shelter out for bid, you're on that board, right? I don't think we did. Didn't need to, but if we're going to do it for one, we can do it for all, or we're going to do it for selected. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
name is Robert Vogt. I'm the father of Rusty Shane Vogt. Certainly by now you're aware he died in a plane crash on his mother's birthday, August 27, 2013. His plane took off from the Edgar County Airport and crashed moments later in his son. You should recognize his name. After all, he's been the focus of many, many discussions in this very room. But more on that later. At 33, Rusty was a pilot's pilot with nearly 9,000 hours of flight time. That's unheard of for someone so young. He was a flight instructor, a commercial pilot, an A&P mechanic, an IA, an aerobatics instructor, a float plane pilot, a business owner, and the father of a very young 2-year-old little girl, Mary Josephine Vogt. He loved her dearly, and she misses him so much. Rusty and his wife, Ann, are expecting their second child due in about 5 months. For the past year and a half or so, he lived above us in the second story of the home in which he spent most of his formative years. He was smart, handsome, extremely hardworking, very well educated, and most of all, highly regarded by his piloting peers, business acquaintances, classmates, and friends. He had many dreams in what seems like a very short life. First to own a '69 Dodge Charger, just like the Dukes of Hazzard, and he did. Then to become a pilot, and he did. Then to marry Ann, the love of his life, and he did that too. Would you believe? They were date partners in junior high school, and he kept a picture of them together on that night, attached to his remote-controlled model airplane workbench. He was there until they became reacquainted many years later. And together they dreamed of a baby, and that too came true. And he loved and enjoyed his wonderful brothers, Bradley, Riley, Casey, and all of his family. He simply loved people. And there was another dream, to live, to fly, and to operate his own aviation business here in Edgar County. In the past year and a half, his dream became more of a nightmare for my family, one in which we had no choice but to endure. Need I mention again the many, many baseless attacks on his character, his business, or his family? With mentioning the ban on breastfeeding mothers or preventing the delivery of a customer's plane jog your memory. Or perhaps the plan to lock him from the leased hangar, the place of his business, and cover his property with black plastic on New Year's Eve. You recall the county board had to order the airport manager to accept rent checks. How about the airport advisory board chairman, person, throwing his certificates of accomplishment to the airport lobby floor? Imagine working under these hostile conditions and trying to run a business. Pilots in training became too afraid to fly for fear the planes would be tampered with and result in a fatal crash. So they left. His business was under constant attack by members of this board, the advisory board, and the airport county employees. There is so much more, like the insurance scam. Here he was attacked for not having insurance when his rental agreement didn't require any. Then again, for not turning over all of his insurance policies on demand. All of this at a time in which the county did not have any requirements in regards to amounts of coverages or types of insurance. And of course, when clarifications were requested from the airport manager, there were none. He did, however, have insurance. It has been said at the same time the airport itself did not have fire insurance for more than $3,000 in coverage per individual per event. Far less than what Rusty had. Let's not forget the former chairperson of the Airport Advisory Board and then a newly sworn in Edgar County board member who created damning letters that were never sent or received, but included as evidence in his complaints to the Bureau of Aeronautics. All trumped up so that he could find a home for his newest airplane, a de Havilland Beaver that was too large to fit in any hangar, but the one in which Rusty's business was in. All of this took time and energy from Rusty's business. He was constantly defending himself from unwarranted attacks perpetuated by a few and orchestrated by one. Just look at all the time taken from his business as he assisted the county in writing a reasonable lease. And for what? Is there a lease? And that's only part of the nightmare and the hell you put my son and family through. Wouldn't it be nice if someone would just do what they should have done a long time ago? This county board could start by firing Jimmy Wells, He's only brought disgrace to the county in the past 2 years. They could abolish the airport advisory board. After all, they haven't made any substantial contributions towards protecting the county's interests or in preventing the rampant abuse of power and authority by a few individuals. Before closing, there is one board member I would like to thank for all that he has done on behalf of Edgar County. That's Dan Bruner. Dan's independent thinking, his willingness to invest his time and energy in which to learn the truth, as well as his courage of his convictions set him apart from most here. I respect Dan as a man of honor and integrity. A few others follow, not too far behind. There's also this watchdog thing. I'm aware. Those of you with something to hide are uncomfortable with these guys. That's understandable. Let me share some information. First, they are honored veterans. But tell me, are you? Second, their only interest is in uncovering illegal and wrongdoings of government officials and employees. They're trying to fix government by making it accountable for its deeds. You can decide to attack the messenger and discard the message, or simply to address the message. But know this, if you want them to go away, you will need to address the message. Thanks again, Dan. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Yes, I'd like to speak on IRC. This man went through a year of just constant battle from the school. And I can't see why Chris Patrick is so against him being there at the airport. This is need productivity out of the airport, which before they didn't have. And now, what's going to happen to the airport again? Another issue I have with Jamie Wells. Why would he be the business manager for the airport when he couldn't operate his own business in Austin? Why would we do such a thing? Hire him as a business manager. He should have been gone a long time ago. It's the constant battle with him coming up with different ideas, which runs the airport from the ground. And then Madonna sit up here and beat on Rusty about he can't run a business. He don't know how. Well, I think he does very well with whatever he's up against. And that's all I have to say about it. And he should be removed.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Can I say, Mayor, what I want to
Sure.
say? I'm one of Rusty's oldest friends. Just exactly 50 years older than he was. I started with him when he was 10 years old. I taught him to fly. I taught him to do a lot of things. We'd sit out there. Bart bring him over and she'd wait and say, when do you want me to come and get him? Well, whenever you get loose, it might be 10 o'clock at night. I talked to that kid like he knew more about aviation. A lot of it I told to him, but than many adults. There's a lot of adults don't know anything about aviation. Anyway, I'm very sad about the whole situation. The past year, these buddies going through. But I wanted to say something about the watchdogs. I've had some of you fellows tell me that you hated them for what they did. And I've got a stock answer for anybody that says that. It's 5 words, and it scuts them right up. What have you done?
Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, we'll go to item 8.
Mr. Chairman? The committees met finance last week, and our recommendation is to purchase the service of Paul Harris and Associates.
Bruce Harris.
What?
Bruce Harris.
What did I say? Paul? Bruce
Women's
Harris.
shopping.
Paul Harris is another, never mind. That's a fellowship. I don't know why I got into that. Bruce Harris, the initial setup fee is $6,000, and it's a $7,000 fee every year thereafter. I'm sorry, it's just reversed. It's $7,000 setup, $6,000 annual. Additionally, we'll have to bring back to the agenda for next month, we also recommended the backup services of Manatron on this particular item, and we'll do that. That's $6,600 setup. Did you want to say a little bit about it, Bev? Some of the capabilities it's going to offer us?
Okay. The purchasing the GIS service, it will allow us to put our GIS information on the web and our tax information on the web, giving more transparency for people to look at. We've had a lot of requests to get this out there, and with having the money in the GIS fund that can only be used for that. It's not really costing the county, it's funded through what we collect, and what the recorder collects per statute. So it's just a way of getting more information out there to the public.
Once it's all initiated, Harris will set up handouts, be available for training, so the banks, attorneys, savings and loans, whatever, real estate people will all have knowledge of the capacity and capabilities of it to augment their businesses.
Does this interact with legacy tax and pro-wall programs? Would that take care of what you're saying we have to come to next week or next meeting?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So we don't have to,
There are two separate contracts. One is for the GIS, and the other is for ProVal and Legacy, and they link together. So that if you go to GIS and click on a parcel, you can go get tax information if you want it.
What, Ben?
my point was that doesn't that link the Manatron?
Yes.
So we don't have to do it at
Well,
another meeting?
Well, we may
can
not
do it.
have to.
It's
If
in
you
here.
think it's,
Yes.
if I was just maybe cautious, then my motion then would be to approve Bruce Harris and Associates and the Legacy Tax and ProVal program costs, and approve the Finance Committee is recommending. And that is all to be paid out of GIS.
What's GIS stand for? What's that mean?
Graphical Information System.
The what?
Graphical Information System.
And if you want to note under item 836, it shows you how much we collected. Gives you an idea that we're, like last month, we collected about $3,200 in that. And there's $60,570 in that account right now.
And it can only be used for that particular
Correct.
project.
Yes. Okay.
Do we have a second for that motion?
So second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I would like to mention, we have a computer in the front office that's available for the public, so if somebody wanted to look at this and didn't have internet access at home, they'd be able to do that.
Thank you.
So it'd be online.
Yeah, it's going to probably take about 3 to 4 months to get it online.
Also, local public libraries, I would imagine, would.
Oh, yeah, anybody that has internet access could
Right.
get to it.
Item 9, renewal Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Alan, would you take that?
Mr. Chairman, after a couple different meetings with our insurance carrier, Blue Cross Blue Shield, basically through Diamond Brothers, originally came back at 26%. We kind of went back and talked with them a little bit. They did get it down to, I think it's 19.45. With that, in talking to then our original plan was possibly to have that redone in January, but in talking to them and also talking quasi with our insurance consultant a little bit, the risk that we ran there is that right now we have a few excessive claims, and so that's driving our rates up. And both of them said you need to be careful doing that. It may be because of the statute. You may, if you wait that 3 months, you may be all right, you may not, it may go higher. So I think it was the decision of the committee anyway to recommend that we go ahead with the renewal of the Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance at, instead of the 26, at the 19.45. In addition to that, to try to give different options to the county employees, we're trying to offer the current PTO, and numbers don't mean anything, and that'll have to be things that department heads, elected officials, whoever are going to have to kind of share with what all this means to all the employees. But a basic one, and then also a different PPO that will not be, I don't think, probably, as one may say, quite as good, but it may be more in line with a cost factor on how much it's going to cost them a month. It kind of equals some of that out. We also have a current HSA that we're offering, a health savings account that we offer to our employees. Of course, that's going to go up too, but then we've also put out as a recommendation that we offer another HSA that would basically, again, coincide with the county kind of using the things that they do to pay for that. It's going to be employees' decisions whether or not they want to go with any of those things. So I guess, unless somebody else here on the insurance committee, if they want to add anything to it, it would be our recommendation from the committee that we do the renewal of Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance.
With the changes that you stated, right?
Yes, I mean, with the idea that we're all going to offer 4 different plans or whatever, but the bottom line is that we have to renew if we're going to, we have to renew with Blue Cross Blue Shield the health insurance plan, and then whatever we want to offer, we can offer.
That's your motion. We have a
Yes,
second.
I would make that motion.
A second. Discussion.
Okay.
2 things. I think we need to have soon an informational meeting with the employees so they can come ask questions so we can explain this. And another concern is that when we have to make the additional payments to Blue Cross Blue Shield, whether it's going to be this month, October, and, we had some discussion with Don, we've got to set this up so we know when we're going to take the deductions out of the employees and paychecks. My thinking is that this first month, the county should cover it, because
But we have to start making the payments immediately, the increase.
and until we can get this all ironed out and get explained to the county employees, I feel like the county in this first month, we should get the increase unfortunately.
Mr. Chairman, to respond to Carlton, I think if we pass this motion, then another motion would be appropriate to cover that and the financial consideration that we're going to offer. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, I think there's 2 different issues taking place there, because
Oh, no, I mean, you're right.
one is a financial issue, if there's a financial package that you're talking about.
Right.
But those are my concerns.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
As far as when this
When it goes to
take
and that
effect,
type of stuff.
who's going to be responsible for the
Right. Or if that's prorated out over the next year or whatever else. I mean, those are issues that's, I think, on the finance, but good points.
But there's a lot of concern about it. And to me, it's important to have this informational meeting for the employees very soon.
Any other discussion?